Hello, friends, and welcome to episode 1227 of the Juicebox Podcast. Welcome back. This is my 12th installment of my weight loss journey. I hope you enjoy it. Please don't forget that nothing you hear on the Juicebox Podcast should be considered advice, medical or otherwise. Always consult a physician before making any changes to your healthcare plan or becoming bold with insulin. If you or a loved one has type 1 diabetes, the T1D Exchange is looking for you. Go to t1dexchange.org/juicebox. And if you're a U.S. resident who has type 1 or is the caregiver of someone with type 1, they're looking for you to complete their survey. It should only take you about 10 minutes, and it's going to help greatly with type 1 diabetes research. It'll probably help you as well. t1dexchange.org/juicebox. When you place your first order for AG1 with my link, you'll get 5 free travel packs and a free year's supply of vitamin D. Drink AG1.com/juicebox. Go to CozyEarth.com and use the offer code JUICEBOX at checkout to save 30% off of your entire cart. That goes for the shorts I'm wearing now, the sheets I'll sleep on tonight, and the towels that I'm going to dry my butt off with in the morning. CozyEarth.com. Use the offer code JUICEBOX at checkout. This show is sponsored today by the glucagon that my daughter carries, Gvoke HypoPen. Find out more at gvokeglucagon.com/juicebox. Welcome back to Weight Loss Diary number 12. Okay, so if you heard the end of number 11, I had a small stroke because I had one salty meal that put a bunch of weight on me. It pissed me off, and I did get a little pissy about it. I apologize about that. Anyway, what are you going to do? Was that the 6th? Today's the 13th. That would have made that the 6th, right? Yeah. So on the 6th, you heard me crying that my weight went from 184.8 the day before on the 5th to 187 on the 6th. And I think it's just because I ate air-fried chicken that had a breading on it that was really salty. I know how crazy that sounds, but I really believe that's what happened. Anyway, I can kind of prove that. So on the 7th, I didn't weigh myself. Too pissed. On the 8th, 186.2. On the 9th, 185.6. On the 10th, 184.8. The 12th, 185. And last night, as a little test, because I ate the chicken on a Friday night and I inject on a Saturday, and then I gained all that weight. And I really thought it was the salt, not just the meal. Because I can eat a little more on Fridays because it's the end of the injection cycle, I think. I think that's why. So last night, I ate pizza for dinner. Really good pizza, by the way. Sausage and pepperoni. And it's very thin crust, but I had many slices, as many as Scotty could eat. And I sat around and watched a baseball game, by the way. I took off last night. Anyway, yesterday morning, I was 185. This morning, after all that pizza, and I had a bowl of Cheerios yesterday. Yesterday was not a great food day for Scott as far as good nutrition goes. I weigh today 185.2. It was the salt. It's crazy. That pizza, by the way, not salty. Anyway, I'm going to inject my Zepbound now and maybe tell you one more story, and then I'm going to get going. That story is going to be about blood work I had done yesterday. But first, Zepbound and down, 7.5 milligrams, cap off. That was the cap. That was me missing the trash can. That was me putting down the pen and pulling up my shirt. Let's see if I can find a place to put. No, I was just kidding. There's plenty of places to put it. I'll just grab this little real estate of chubby right here. And I got to miss my incision from my appendix. I don't want to get near that. And jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. Don't want to hit a stretch mark. There's a pro tip for you. I have like a little black and blue mark from last week. Isn't that interesting? Still there. I'm going to go to the other side. Turn off the lock. Lock is off. Squeeze fat. Fat squeezed. Pen touching skin. And woohoo, we are done. What is that? Came out there. That's a little liquid. No, go back in. I don't want to waste that. Get in there. Get in there. Do the work. All right. Pen in the trash. Made it that time. Here's the story. got blood work done because I have a doctor's appointment coming up next week. Is it actually next week? It is next Saturday. Oh, well, this is interesting. Next Saturday, maybe I'll record this after the doctor's appointment next Saturday. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I got a bunch of blood work done and my numbers all came back really good. But the one number that was fascinating was my ferritin, which if you listen to the podcast, you'll know that I've had trouble for years with low ferritin. So much so that I've had to go multiple times to get infusions. Like I'll get an infusion and like 6 months later, I'll be out of ferritin again. And I've tried everything to get my body to absorb iron. But now that I'm on a GLP, it just works. My ferritin was 188. I almost cursed. Crazy. I haven't had an infusion in over a year and my ferritin is 188. That's because my digestion is working better now and my body has time to absorb the nutrients that I'm eating. So it wasn't that I wasn't eating them. It was that prior to the GLP, I couldn't absorb them. Isn't that crazy? Makes me wonder what else is going right. Should I tell you anything else this time around? No, that was enough. I'm Zepbound and down. I'll see you next week after my doctor's appointment. If you take insulin or sulfonylureas, you are at risk for your blood sugar going too low. You need a safety net when it matters most. Be ready with Gvoke HypoPen. My daughter carries Gvoke HypoPen everywhere she goes because it's a ready-to-use rescue pen for treating very low blood sugar in people with diabetes ages 2 and above that I trust. Low blood sugar emergencies can happen unexpectedly, and they demand quick action. Luckily, Gvoke HypoPen can be administered in 2 simple steps, even by yourself in certain situations. Show those around you where you store Gvoke HypoPen and how to use it. They need to know how to use Gvoke HypoPen before an emergency situation happens. Learn more about why Gvoke HypoPen is in Arden's Diabetes Toolkit at gvokeglucagon.com/juicebox. Gvoke shouldn't be used if you have a tumor in the gland on the top of your kidneys called a pheochromocytoma, or if you have a tumor in your pancreas called an insulinoma. Visit gvokeglucagon.com/risk for safety information. Hey everybody, it is April 21st. I'm a day late. Actually, I'm pretty much 2 days late. It's like 11 o'clock at night. I had a crazy weekend. I did not shoot my Zepbound this weekend like I should have. And actually noticed that I ate more last night than I normally would have, which I don't find crazy at all. But I'm going to share something quick with you and tell you I don't even have my weight today to tell you. I'm sorry. I'll do better next week. But I've had this experience that I was going to share very quickly. If I eat till I get full, like really full, the next time I see myself in a mirror while I'm feeling full, I expect to look fat. I don't know another way to explain that to you other than when I feel full, when I go see myself, I think, oh, I'm going to be back to where I was. And it's not like a real conscious thought. It's just, well, that's not fair. It is a conscious thought. It doesn't stick with me. I don't believe it or anything like that. It just feels that way. It's very strange. Anyway, I don't have a weight for today. I don't have anything for you. Just going to shoot this Zepbound 7.5. Also, I was supposed to have my doctor's appointment on Saturday, like you guys know, except she was exposed to COVID, so it got pushed back a week. So I don't have any reports back from my doctor's appointment, although, like I said, I've gotten my blood work back and it looks great. Anyway, here we go. Ooh, that was a lot of pressure on that one. All right, we're all done. I will do better for you next week. Hey, everybody. It is April 27th, Saturday. I've had my doctor's appointment today. Very exciting. And I've got some good news to report. Some good news and some not great news, but, mostly good. So my blood work was fantastic. The doctor is thrilled. She took my vitals and said, my God, Scott, you're like a kid, with my blood pressure and everything. We talked a lot about health and just overall how I was feeling. She was super excited for me. But my weight this morning was 189. So this 7.5 of Zepbound doesn't look like it's doing the job. And she's going to move me up to 10. So we're going to go to 10 milligrams. But of course, I've got to get that filled. My wife is where we get our insurance from, and she's actually in between jobs right now. She starts her new job on Monday, so I'll have to wait a little bit. So for today, we're going to shoot the 7.5 into my 189-pound body. So I'm up a number of pounds from my lowest weight. I was 183 at my lowest. Honestly, don't know what to tell you about the 6 pounds. I'm not exactly sure. I don't feel like I'm doing anything oddly different. But the doctor's very, very confident that a lot of weight loss on Zepbound is seen at 10 milligrams and 12. She thinks I'm going to have success at 10. I'm sorry, there's a cricket in here. I'm not sure if you can hear that or not. Anyway, I'm going to shoot the Zepbound, try to get the 10 as fast as I can. I don't know if I will be able to get to it this week or not. Probably not till next if I'm lucky. So I might end up doing the 7.5 another couple of weeks. Not a big deal. I'm added some dumbbell work, and I'm seeing improvement in the muscles in my arms, my shoulders, my chest, and my shoulders feel better. Like I'm regaining strength that I just wasn't lifting weights before, so that's helpful. I'm very content, not happy. Obviously, still have weight to lose. It's in my midsection. Maybe the 10 will do it. I'll try to add some other stuff on my side. I really don't know what else to change. I guess I could restrict calories, but I already don't eat very much, so not sure what to do here. We'll see. Anyway, taking off the cap. This is that cricket. Hopefully I gotta get that thing. Unlock the pen. Obviously I put this in the right side of my stomach last week, and I didn't lose any weight, so not that has anything to do with anything, but I'm going to go superstitious here and move it to the other side. And here we go. All right, guys, I will see you next week. So today is not May 4th like it should be, because I just did not have the energy to record last week. I still shot the Zepbound 7.5. But this is going to be a little talky for a minute. I might button this episode up after this, make it shorter, because I think I'm starting over today. Let me tell you what I mean. Through the entire process thus far, the medication has just worked. And there were gaps of time where it wasn't working. There was like slowdowns, but I never gained weight. And people tell you there'll be times you don't gain weight or don't lose weight, just be patient. So I was patient, and then it kept going. Or there's times like you had to work on, elimination stuff, like you get a little constipated at some points, etc. There were things to pick through. Big picture, a week didn't matter. Week still doesn't matter, big picture. However, last week I woke up and I was so disappointed with my weight that I was like, I have nothing to record. I just don't. I'm not losing any weight. I keep gaining. And last week I started having a real panic that I was just going to keep putting on weight. I don't know why. My eating again it's not any different than it's been through the whole process. So perhaps I'm at the end. I don't know. Maybe I'm at a maintenance space with a GLP, but my doctor doesn't think so. I mentioned it in the last episode. I've spoken to her since then. She genuinely doesn't think so. So she's moved me to this 10 milligrams Zepbound, which I have here today, finally. I didn't have it last week, and I shot the 7.5, like I said, and my weight is just doing this dance, Let me see. I'm 190.2 this morning. Yesterday, I was 188.4. What did I do yesterday? I got up. What did I eat? I don't know if I didn't eat enough. I had pasta at the end of the day. Maybe I ate too late. I had a little bit of sorbet. Nothing that I hadn't eaten, weeks before. There was a time 6-8 months into this, you guys will remember, I lost my mind one night. I ate a pint of sorbet and lost a pound the next day. So, I had a small dish of it. To call it a dish is maybe too much. I had a few little scoops of it last night. Yeah, I'm going to go all the way back to 183.8. That was on April 1st. Now here we are, May 11th. What are we? 40 days later. And I'm almost 7 pounds heavier. even then, I thought I was a little dehydrated. I didn't think the number was real because I went 184 for a few days, then 187, 186, 85, 84, 85, 85, 86, 87, 87, 86, 88, 87, 88, 88. Yeah, maybe this is just where I was. Perfectly honest. Anyway, whatever I've gotten out of the medication so far that made my weight drop doesn't exist at the moment. Hopefully it'll exist with this 10 milligrams. Doctor seems very sure that if it doesn't, she'll push me to 12 in probably 4 weeks. I will report this. On 7.5 milligrams of Zepbound, I don't fill up as quickly as I did on the Wegovy. So I guess that feeling full thing, I mean, obviously does slow you down from eating. But I can eat a little more on Zepbound than I can on Wegovy. And it does happen sometimes. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. I've also had more sugar cravings the last week and a half. And I have had some simple sugars that, I mean, I wasn't thrilled with. Now you say, oh, well, there's your answer, Scott. You gained a cup. But I don't think so. Because before that, I was still 187, 188. You know what I mean? Like, these couple of pounds here are different. Also, I should point out, my clothes still fit relatively the same. My shirt's a little tighter in the front. And moreover, even though people are coming up to me and saying like, oh my God, you look terrific, or I can't believe it, or how are you doing this, or tell me how to get that stuff, like all that. I don't care about what people think about how I look. I've learned that doesn't matter at all. Almost doesn't matter how I feel about how I look. It's body composition and health, right? And I've got these 3 handfuls of fat on the front of me, and they got to go. I'm not going out like that, okay? I'm sure I'll die some other horrible way, but it's not going to be from a heart attack because I carried fat around on my front. I'm just not doing that. I don't want my knees to hurt when I run up the stairs. I don't want to feel out of breath. Like, these are the things that I'm concerned about. I traveled recently, and it was just so much easier just being thinner. And I have no other way of talking about it other than that. Absolutely fantastic. I still haven't been able to fully talk to you about the gut health stuff that I'm doing because I don't have all the answers yet. But there is part of me that thinks that a supplement I'm taking is what stopped my weight loss. And I'm not certain. So I've tried to dial that back to see. I'm in the middle of an experiment to figure it out. You know, I said to my wife the other day, like, I haven't lost weight. And she goes, well, you ate that pack of cookies. And I was like, this pack of cookies, like, so I brought it up here so I could tell you about it. It's this little snack pack of cookies that I get from Costco. They're called thin and crispy chocolate chip cookies. The package holds 1 ounce of cookies. And on the front, it says, made with simple ingredients, which is why I bought it originally. Semi-sweet chocolate chips, sugar, unsweetened chocolate, cocoa butter, soy. That's what's in the chocolate, right? Wheat flour, niacin, reduced iron, thiamine, riboflavin, malted barley flour, butter, sugar, brown sugar, etc. Listen, it ain't great. It's an ounce. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you have an ounce of hard chocolate chip cookies every day or every other day or whatever, like to like satisfy a sweet tooth. This is not some crazy thing. I shouldn't be, gaining weight. And calories wise, I mean, this 1 ounce is 140 calories. I'm not exactly like, horking it down. I still see over and over again, salty foods, like, will put water weight on me very simply. Happens really easily. Anyway, I think all this to say that I haven't eaten as well as I have in the past year in the last week and a half or 2 weeks. And maybe I should be thrilled that my weight is where it is. I'm not thrilled. All I can tell you is that I got to look at myself at 183. And I thought, my body, if this fat leaves here, my body will be right around 175 probably. Like, for me, I don't know what the app's going to say about my, obesity level or, what all the other stuff it tracks. But I feel like I'll be good with my weight at that right around there. I have put some, like I told you before, a little muscle on in my arms and my chest. So, I mean, I'd like to say that that's some weight, but it's certainly not 6 or 7 pounds. Certainly not 6 or 7 pounds. Anyway, my weight today is 190.2. I am starting over today with this 10 milligrams. BMI 28.2. where I started at 34.6, still high. Body fat, 24.9, still high. My hydration, body water holds steadily. Skeletal muscle mass has gone up a little bit in the last couple of weeks. BMR, steady. Fat-free body weight. Well, that's interesting. My fat-free body weight, yeah, it's all steady. Subcutaneous fat, steady. Visceral fat, steady at 11. Muscle mass, steady. Bone mass, steady. Protein, steady. Metabolic age, 55. Okay, so let's just say I'm starting over. And I don't mean starting over like I gave up in the middle, but starting over like maybe this is act 2. You know what I mean? Like maybe act 1 was lower, amounts of the medication help me lose weight. And now the medication needs to be yacked up a little bit to get to the rest of this fat. And if this isn't it, then the answer has to go some other place. Like it's going to have to be pretty intense exercise and targeting of my midsection. I was trying to lose more weight so my back would feel better before I started doing that kind of stuff. But maybe that is just what it's going to have to be. But anyway, let's not call it starting over. Let's call it beginning act 2. Scott's weight loss journey. Got the 10 milligrams. Well, there's a lot of liquid in there. 10 milligrams of Zepbound. I'm going to pop it in my belly. I'm assuming I'm going to feel a little pressure from all that liquid going in. I'm sure that'll be fine. And then I'm going to go downstairs and have my breakfast of, 2 eggs, maybe in a wrap with a little steak or chicken. That's been what I've been eating for breakfast for, forever now. And let's hope that I come back on here in the next episode, because I am going to button this one up early. But let's hope I come back on here in the next episode to report to you that, it's been 6 weeks. I've been on the higher dose and, I've lost 10 pounds and I'm at 180 now. Well, that's my hope. If I get to 180 in a month or 2, obviously this would be working. If I drop weight slowly, I'd be thrilled, even no matter what the number is. If I stay at this weight, I'm going to think we're not in a good spot. Now, will we move to the 12 then and see? My doctor is very confident that most weight loss on Zepbound or Mounjaro is seen at the 10 and 12 milligram level. So I trust her. She's been rock solid for me since the day I met her. Let's pop off the cap. Unlock the doohickey. I guess it's a lock. Eye up my multitude of options where my fat is on my stomach. I'm going to go a little lower down here because it looks a little softer. That makes it better. Who knows? All right, let's see if 10 milligrams feels different pressure-wise. Ooh, that was easy. I got to go down that soft spot again. I just had to go down like another inch. Absolutely no pressure at all. Went right in there. All right, kids. Listen, I appreciate you doing with this with me. I was telling somebody the other day, they said, you have a weight loss diary in your podcast? And I was like, yeah. I said, it really helps me. It's hard to know what what value talking about it gives, but it really does make me feel better after I talk about this. And the replies I get from you guys, it's one of those things. It's funny. Not a lot of people want to go online and say, hey, I listened to your weight loss stuff, because I think it makes you feel like a little too seen. But a number of people have reached out to me to say how much they're enjoying these, and I'm glad they're helping you guys as well. So 10 milligrams into the trash. I'll see you guys in the next episode. I don't sound excited, but I feel excited about what just happened there with those 10 milligrams. So let's cross our fingers and live 7 days and see what happens. I did it. I lived 7 more days. Today is, in fact, May 18th. It is Saturday. And let's go over my weight, shall we? Okay. I've got the app here. Go to the trends. I'm going to go back here a little bit to find where things went off the rails. Wow. Damn, how about that? Okay. So It's October. Kind of just following through a little bit here. Give me a second. It's December 2023 when I start dropping out of the 190s. Oops, sorry. February, I got a 187 in there. It's May now. I'm doing this for a reason. Hold on a second. Pretty steady, 187. And all of a sudden I get to 185. So I got real motion there on March 30th. I hit my lowest weight ever on April 1st, unless the scale was messing with me because it was April Fool's Day. But I was 183.8 that day. You've heard me say I think I was dehydrated. It hung for 3 or 4 days. And then all of a sudden I was 187 again. I figured, okay, 183 wasn't real. That's fair. 187 is about my weight. I got into the 185s pretty stably. But then I started bouncing around 185, 187, then all of a sudden 188. And one day I was 189. And then on the 29th of April, 191.4. I was like, oh, this is going the wrong way. So we danced with that devil for a while and started talking to the doctor, as you know, about moving up on the medication, which I did. Shot my first one last week. If I go back to that day, 190.2. That was a week ago today. And today, well, let's step through it. 190.2. Next day, on the 12th, 189.6. On the 13th, 188.2. Then 187.2. Then 188.4. Then 187. 187.8. And today, 187.2. 3 pounds. 3 pounds in a week. Let's call the 10 milligrams working. I'm going to tell you very briefly, I recorded this fantastic episode the other day with a gentleman, an endocrinologist, Tom Blevins. He's from Austin, Texas. He's going to come on and do a short GLP series with me. He knows a lot about GLPs, very clear about it when he speaks. So we're going to have him on to talk about it through a small series that'll come out soon-ish. I don't know when, honestly. But for now, 10 milligrams of Mounjaro. I'm going to shoot this, go have lunch, go to a party for a family member, and continue to live my life. I also spoke out strong, but I made a post today on the private Facebook group letting everybody know that there are going to be conversations about GLPs in that group and on this podcast. And I know that there's varying opinions and perspectives and complexities, but we are going to have that conversation because I think that one day this stuff's going to help a lot of people. And I think we need to start talking about it now. Anyway, I'm going to shoot this. What I do in the bottom, remember the embarrassment of rolling my fat around and finding the soft bottom of it last week to inject into? Well, that worked great and it didn't hurt at all. So I'm doing it again. Cap off. Cap on, cap off. Can I hit the trash can? Nope. I was left-handed. I just missed. Very embarrassing. Hold on a second. Unlock the lock. Get that soft underbelly. Oh, I guess that's where that phrase comes from. Stay away from my scar, from my appendectomy. Tell you what, I lost 3 pounds. I'm going back to the same side. I don't really think that matters, but what the hell? Here's another hit. I said, goddamn. That went right in, nice and smooth. Smooth as silk. No blood. If I go right-handed, can I get the trash can? Oh, I really missed it that time. I'm like 2 feet from that trash can. In fairness, I'm shooting around like a mic stand and a light and stuff, but still feel embarrassed. I'm back. May 25th, Saturday. So probably time for me to start talking a little bit inside of this diary about something else that I'm doing, which is I'm seeing kind of a gut specialist about like lifelong issues I've had with my GI tract, right? So we're doing some things, and one of the things we're doing is taking something called slippery elm bark, and it seems like it's stopping me from losing weight. I'm not exactly sure how to put all this yet. It's a stopgap to get rid of some of my symptoms while testing goes on and I try some other stuff, which I'm not going to talk about in here, but I will have an episode about, maybe a couple of episodes about. Anyway, for the moment, I'm not expecting a ton of weight loss. I guess. Also, I don't know if maybe this 10 milligrams is going to take a little longer to work. I honestly, I want to try to be really honest here. I don't know exactly what's happening right now, but what I can tell you is that last week when I was 187.2 on the 18th, I went to 186.8 on the 19th, and I thought, oh, maybe this 10 milligrams is working. Then on the 20th, I was 188. On the 21st, 187.6. On the 22nd, 188.8. I was 188.8 yesterday, and today I'm 189.8. So, I mean, listen, I'm in the middle of something here. You know what I mean? So I don't have a ton of answers. My total weight goal is, in limbo, but I'm trying to get this one thing done. So I'm going to be doing a kind of like a flush, like a gallbladder, liver kind of like detox thing over the next 4 weeks. So we'll see what's going to happen. And then after that, I'll be doing another step, which I'll tell you about later. But anyway, like my urinalysis came back and I had a couple of issues like candida, which I think is yeast, and a couple of other things in my gut. I'm trying to get that all worked out. Anyway, I'm going to keep going. Obviously, I'm not stopping with this, but I just don't know what's going to happen with my weight over the next couple of weeks. I guess we'll find out together. Not a lot to say. I'm not disappointed. It's just, I mean, shit, I'm a little disappointed. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to get to my goal weight and I want to see the rest of this belly fat go and stuff like that. I just want to be healthy, honestly. But it seems like it's a bit of a process. So this is part of the process. And today's part is taking off this cap, throwing it in the trash can. Ooh, it actually went in the trash can. That's exciting. Unlocking it, finding a soft, jiggly place to put this pen needle. This looks good right here. Okay. It's in. It's going to be a bit of a ride here for the next few weeks. I have no idea what this flush is going to do or how it's going to make me feel or if I'm going to lose weight or not lose weight or I don't know. We'll find out together. Hey, everybody. This is going to be the last installment for this episode. It is Saturday, June 1st, and I finally got back on track. Let me tell you about it. So if today is June 1st, last Saturday would have been May 25th. And I'm going to go back in the app to May 25th. 189.8 pounds on May 25. Then I decided to take a tiny, maybe a different tactic this week. What am I, 2 full weeks into the 10 milligrams now, I think? And I'm finally getting the impact from the medication that I got previously. So it looks like going up in the dose was the right thing to do. 5/25/24, I was 189.8 pounds. The next day, I was 190.2. And I made a decision then. I was like, okay, I'm not weighing myself that much this week. Just because it was starting to bum me out. And I'm like, I just have to wait for this medication to start working again. So I'm not going to bum myself out every day. I was able to eat less this week. And I think that's because the medication was back up to a strength that was working for me. I want to tell you what I mean by eating less. The sugar cravings I've been having the last couple of weeks are gone. So I guess I probably just didn't eat as much stuff with sugar in it, which, by the way, wasn't to say that I was having a lot of stuff with sugar in it, but basically almost no sugar this week. Still eating eggs, protein, steak, chicken, all that, at breakfast time. I have to be honest with you. I have been so not hungry this week. I think I've had chicken soup a couple of times for dinner. Just has not been a lot of calories this week. And we saw the impacts. And how did we see them? The next time I jumped on the scale after the 26th, so I was 190.2 on the 26th. I jumped back on the scale on the 30th. That's May 30, a couple days ago. So in between the 26th and the 30th, I went from 190.2 to 185.6. And I was like, okay, that'll work. I didn't even need the scale. I could see it in my t-shirt, in my face. I felt like my face looked more like I remembered it from when I was like 184, and my shirt fit the same way as I did when I was 184. So not a big surprise when I jumped back on the scale, 185.6 on the 30th. I was a little shocked on the 31st when I was 184.6, because now we're looking at Friday, right? Like end of the Mongiarno, the half-life it's waning basically in the 6th and 7th day. So I thought, 184.6. There's no way when I get on the scale tomorrow on the 1st so that I can weigh in for the recording that I'm going to have that number. And then I was working for a while yesterday afternoon. My wife comes to me and she goes, would you come out to the bar with me and have a French fry? I think she wanted a French fry. So we went to, like this restaurant bar that we go to. And what did I have last night? Shrimp in a thin sauce. But man, I was like, it's salty. Like I thought for certain I'm waking up today like 3 pounds heavier. I had the shrimp. I actually had a couple of pieces of bread. I had a chicken wing from her dish and something else. I'm thinking, what else? Oh, she got a wing. It's so funny when you eat on GLP. Like she got wings and a cheesesteak and ate like an eighth of the cheesesteak and 3 of the chicken wings. But still, that's what we ate. Just the amount is not great. I had a chicken wing. I mean, that's deep fried, right? And then I picked some of the steak out of her roll. So basically I had a pound of shrimp. No, it was a half a pound of shrimp, couple of small pieces of bread, small, like 2-3 inches across, maybe a half an inch wide, the chicken wing, and what I'm going to guess is like 2 ounces of like, thin steak. And I'll be damned, I was 184.6 this morning still. So anyway, I'm 184.6 today. Not bad. I'll give you my BMI, 27.3, still over the threshold. Body fat is down to 24.1. It had been as high as 25 or 25 and a half at the beginning of the month. My body water increases as I lose weight. Skeletal muscle has increased, not a full point, but almost a full point in the last month. BMR is down 1743. Fat-free body weight is now 140.2. It was as much as 142 and a half at the beginning of the month. My subcutaneous fat, 21 even. That's nice, but not record-breaking for me. Visceral fat. Now, my visceral fat is at a 10. A 10. It has only ever been at a 10 once before, and I guess it would not surprise you. It was back when my weight was more like it is now. My muscle mass is a little down. Yeah, it's down to 132 from 134. I'm going to want to do something about that. Bone mass nice and stable. Protein rising. Metabolic age at its lowest, but I've done this age before at this weight. Metabolic age 54. No doubt I feel better about the process. I think this 10 milligrams that I'm going to shoot right now is, I'm excited about it. And I'm going to read you something someone sent me before I go and talk about it for a second. So cap off, cap on, cap off. The capper. Ooh, I hit the trash can today. It's because I moved the light that was blocking it. It's pretty smart of me, I thought. I'm going to unlock the pen. We're definitely going back in the spot from last week. Going to call this the lucky spot. The lucky spot. Nothing to do with anything. All right. Actually, I'm going to move a little over more. A little soft piece of Scott right here I'm going to use. You ready? Ooh, it stung a little bit at the end. Am I going to see a drop of blood? Nope. No drop of blood, no lost liquid. 10 milligrams is in. Hit the trash can because things are going well. You think I was missing the trash can because I was upset before? That's possible. All right. So I'm going to finish with this and then I'm going to button up this episode. Somebody out there listening sent a note. As a person with type 1 that has struggled with body image issues, listening to Scott talk about how great he looks and feels because of Wegovy is getting really annoying. If only we all could just take a shot to lose weight. And it says, check your privilege. Now, I'm not going to tell you who sent it or anything like that, but I am going to talk about it for a second. If you think that a decision to make a GLP diary and put it on a podcast was an easy decision to make, if you think I was just like, oh my God, I'm losing weight, I'll just tell people about it and celebrate, that is not what this is. So I have a significant feeling that GLP medications are going to be important to people moving forward. People with type 2, people with weight to lose, people with things that we might not even be thinking about yet, like PCOS, other metabolic issues, insulin resistance. And yes, I think it's going to be important for type 1s as well. Now, the only way to spread that word, of course, is to talk about it. And then I make myself the target because I know people like this person are going to feel not good about this. And you're going to hear from people who are like, well, I can't afford it, or my insurance doesn't cover it. I hope you've got privilege. And I mean, listen, you start saying, check your privilege, I start thinking you have other goals, but I understand. I have insurance that covers this, and that is a privileged situation. Absolutely. And I accept that, and I absolutely agree. But you want people talking about this stuff, because the way you're all going to get covered by your insurance is by showing that people are having great success with this, by making it undeniable that it's necessary for people to have these if they want them. If people like me don't push, if we're not out and open about it, they're just going to say, whatever. And you have to understand that type 2 is not a huge market. A couple of million people with type 2 diabetes is not, that's not what they're looking for. When they're making drugs, they're looking for stuff that covers hundreds of millions of people. They're trying to make real money. You know what I mean? Like money, like we can't imagine money. So you have to show them why it's important to put the effort into the studies that will lead to the insurance coverage, so a person with type 1 diabetes can use Mounjaro or Wegovy or Ozempic, or, by the way, why they also might want to get behind this little ditty here, biosimilars. Lots of companies making biosimilar GLP medications, and they're being, in some cases, they're having trouble because of the mechanism of delivery that a couple of the companies chose. So they patented, I don't know all of this yet, I'm going to have someone on to talk about it, but a couple of companies patented that pen that I just threw in the trash, not the medication. That's janky. So the Federal Trade Commission has been involved recently. And again, I'm going to have somebody come on to talk about it. Because if these biosimilar companies can make GLPs that are biologically similar to the ones that are available on the market now, then they can make viable medications and flood the market with them at lower prices. And then this person here who says, if we could all just take a shot to lose weight, you might actually have that option. Now, the next thing I got to say is, if I only said things on this podcast that I knew 100% everybody could agree with, that no one would be upset by, or no one would feel like, oh, I've been left out here. If I only spoke about those things, you wouldn't even listen to the podcast. It wouldn't be valuable. It would be what they call milquetoast. It would say nothing. It would be something everyone could agree with, which is not normally something that's going to help anyone. And you can tell when I'm talking, this is all off the top of my head, but point being, we have to say things that are happening. This is really happening to me. I didn't start making this diary once I knew it was working. I went on day one. I didn't know if this was going to work. You think I'm excited to tell you I have diarrhea? You think I'm super excited to tell you how much I weigh? I hate this. This is not fun. It is not fun at all. But I think it's important. I think that if I look at the impacts I'm seeing type 1s who are getting a hold of GLP medications, if I look at the impacts they're having, the quality impacts on their life, and I want these conversations to keep happening, well, then somebody's got to have them. And even though I know that there are going to be people out there who are either disappointed because, for just any number of reasons that this is being talked about, I think it's important. Now, if it hurt this person's feelings, I certainly don't want that. But my God, if you're going to be triggered by the conversation of a 50-year-old guy who can afford insurance, whose insurance covers GLP, talking about his weight loss, then I have to ask this person. If they were here, I would ask them this. Why the fuck are you listening to this? Like, why would you listen to something that makes you this upset? That I don't understand. There are so many things in the world I don't like, and so many things that make me sad and upset. I wouldn't listen to them. And if I did listen to them and found myself, not surprisingly, sad and upset, about the last thing I would do is take my time to reach out to that person and say, hey, there's a thing you're doing, a thing that I knew I wasn't going to like, but I involved myself in anyway. And turns out you're going to be so surprised. I didn't like it. So now I'm going to take the time to write to you and try to make you feel like shit about it. So to this person, I feel terrible that you feel this way, but you made me feel exactly the way you feel. So you want to sit here and discuss what came first, the chicken or the egg? We absolutely can. But I say, stop looking for things that make you upset. That's all I got for this one. I'm going to keep making this diary because despite this one note, so many of you have written to me to say, hey, this has been really inspiring for me, or it's comforting to hear how the medication works, or thank you for drawing attention to this. See, this person doesn't realize that their opinion is, as far as I can tell, so far in the minority that if they could see the balance of their note versus the other ones, I genuinely think they'd be embarrassed. Now, having said that again, I am so sorry that it made you feel poorly. I did not want that. But I mean, it's getting really annoying. Does that mean you're annoyed by it and you continued to listen to it? Like, stop listening if you don't like it. Seriously, how many things I've heard and I go, I don't agree with that. It makes me upset. So I don't do it again. I don't know. I might be wrong, but it's how I feel. Anyway, I'm Zepbound and down to 184 something. And if I find enough wood to knock on, I hope to be a couple pounds lighter next time I talk to you. I still have a significant amount of weight to lose so that I can be healthy. So to that person, I'm trying not to have a heart attack, not just look good. That is literally a bonus. Trying to stay alive and be healthy while I'm doing it. You think you have body image issues. So do I. So does everybody. A huge thank you to one of today's sponsors, Gvoke Glucagon. Find out more about Gvoke HypoPen at gvokeglucagon.com/juicebox. You spell that GVOKEGLUCAGON.com/juicebox. I know that Facebook has a bad reputation, but please give the private Facebook group for the Juicebox Podcast a healthy once-over. Juicebox Podcast, Type 1 Diabetes. The group now has 47,000 members in it. It gets 150 new members a day. It is completely free, and at the very least, you can watch other people talk about diabetes. And everybody is welcome. Type 1, Type 2, gestational, loved ones, everyone is welcome. Go up into the featured tab of the private Facebook group, and there you'll see lists upon lists of all of the management series that are available to you for free in the Juicebox Podcast. Becoming a member of that group, I really think it will help you. It will at least give you community. You'll be able to kind of lurk around, see what people are talking about, pick up some tips and tricks. Maybe you can ask a question or offer some help. Juicebox Podcast, Type 1 Diabetes on Facebook. If you have type 2 or pre-diabetes, the Type 2 Diabetes Pro Tip series from the Juicebox Podcast is exactly what you're looking for. Do you have a friend or a family member who is struggling to understand their type 2 and how to manage it? This series is for them. 7 episodes to get you on track and up to speed. Episode 860, Series Intro. 864, Guilt and Shame. Episode 869, Medical Team. 874, Fueling Plan. Episode 880, Diabetes Technology. Episode 885, GLP-1s, metformin, and insulin. And in episode 889, we talk about movement. This episode is with me and Jenny Smith. Of course, you know Jenny is a certified diabetes care and education specialist. She's a registered and licensed dietitian, and Jenny has had type 1 diabetes for over 30 years. Too many people don't understand their type 2 diabetes, and this series aims to fix that. Share it with a friend, or get started today. If you're not already subscribed or following in your favorite audio app, please take the time now to do that. It really helps the show. And get those automatic downloads set up so you never miss an episode. Thank you so much for listening. I'll be back very soon with another episode of the Juicebox Podcast. The episode you just heard was professionally edited by Wrong Way Recording. WrongWayRecording.com.